CFC refrigerants in smaller refrigeration systems. These can be manufactured here in Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, there's a potential investment as well. And when you look at the necessity for the utilization of these refrigerants throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world, there had been some resistance to the introduction of natural refrigerants because there's no license to produce them, as it versus the HFCs and the HCFCs. Why not, therefore, this refrigerant be refined from hydrocarbon to be used in our refrigerators? In refrigerators, they use 30% less electricity, and they're, as far as global warming or CFC, ozone depletion, etc., they're about zero. So it's vitally important that you in Trinidad and Tobago and look at that as another opportunity as well. Work to be undertaken will examine all environmental concerns. The environmental audits will include water consumption, wastewater, air emissions, noise, solid waste. We look at all those things in the facilities. And we do an analysis of the regulatory and other constraints applying to the utility, the building background, utility analysis, site visits, etc. And of course, we'll present a final report and a toolkit as it relates to what the facility owner can do to sustain their refrigerant management system. We'll collect and analyze all available data such as drawings. We go through, do an environmental assessment, documentation, and we'll even look at past accidents, reports on past accidents, to see if we can present mitigation rather than the adjustment, as you've been effectively told. We'll look at regulated aspects, non-regulated aspects, energy situations, etc., emergencies, etc. And as part of the awareness-raising activities, in terms of the workshops that will be held, and we're going to have 4 workshops in Trinidad and Tobago and 4 workshops in Jamaica, separate and apart from that global meeting which will be held. So 2 workshops in each country will be organized in the metropolitan area, and the last 2 in the resort area. Well, I do not know, seeing that I only came here yesterday for the first time in the real sense, I do not know where the resort area is or if it exists. But in Tobago, great, right? Okay, I feel better now. And so we'll invite about 50 firms to be in attendance at those workshops. Then we'll prepare a final report. We'll prepare 2 main reports within the project timetable: the interim report, the final report. The interim report will present progress in the implementation of project activities, and the final report will summarize all results from the project and will include recommendations, training toolkits, baseline measurement. After we've looked at the entire gamut of facilities, we'll try to arrive at baseline for industrial use. And of course, a comprehensive recommendation for more efficient energy and environmental management, which can be used at the firm or sector level. We need a vitally important participation. That is management's commitment. That's very essential. This is absolutely necessary for the success of the project. There has to be a commitment to implement the recommended energy efficiency and environmental improvement measures. It is our hope that the audits will not just be seen as a good report. We've had many good reports over years. I've been in the business since 1979, 1980. I've seen some fantastic reports that are either in file 13 or on the shelf. We need to carry out implementation. We do not want to reinvent the wheel again. So the implementation measures that will prove cost-effective and sustainable should be the order of the day. I hope that I have been able to shed some light on the subject. And I thank you very much. The ball is now in your court for us to proceed. And thanks for allowing us to share our ideas with you. Thanks a lot.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our presenters this morning. We heard from Dr. Ruth Potopsing, and here Dr. Potopsing spoke about the actual project in all its dimension. She referred to the regulatory and legislative framework, the audits, but more importantly, the reasoning for looking at both Trinidad and Jamaica, which have different energy profiles. Ms. Newton gave us the triple bottom line scenario, and more importantly, that was done within the carbon context. She also alluded to the leads and, more importantly, the need for residential and a commercial focus. Ms. Priya Maraj also focused on the incentives and, more importantly, what the budget of 2011 has to offer. She also alluded to best practice, which is currently ongoing, Omega Telecom, and DeCosta and Gwendolyn as two of the examples. She also referred to in her presentation on the work of the Carbon Reduction Task Force, which was established in 2008. Mr. David Ramjohn, in his focus on the environmental benefits, definitely spoke to some of the work which the EMA is currently doing, one of them being the Nariva Swamp Project, which is funded by the Green Fund. He also spoke to and underlined the seriousness of TNT ranking per capita versus the absolute emission. Mr. Kumar Singh also gave his focus in terms of government's environment policy, and here he focused on the climate change policy as it retains to mitigation and adaptation. He also spoke to the incentives again in the 2011 budget, and more importantly, to the government of Trinidad and Tobago focus on the carbon reduction strategy. Last but not least was Mr. Horton. And again, Mr. Horton gave us an overview of what we expect of this project. More importantly, your own participation. At this point in time, I would like to open the floor for both comments and questions. Thank you. Floor is open.
Good morning. My name is Andre Escalante from Energy Dynamics. I just first want to thank Carol Ayong. I met Carol 2 years ago in St. Martin at a CAIC CEO's conference, and she was there because she was interested in the energy conservation and wanted to know what she can do. And since then, I haven't seen her. I thought she didn't do anything about this, so I'm very pleased to see that CAIC and Carol has done a good job in putting all this together. Just want to add some comments on the audits and what we can get from it. We, just like Eaton is doing some work for the IDB, Inter-American Development Bank, we are doing some work for IDB with the Chanak project for hotels in Barbados. And we have done about 14 hotels so far. And just to say some of the things we found, so you can see, even like, for instance, every hotel we audited so far, even those with engineers, had leaks. The lowest leak was 30%, the maximum was 70%. Average about 50%. One hotel saved about, and they found a leak actually, 300,000 US per year in water leaks, US dollars per year in water leaks. And that was just recently. Okay, so we may think we have good operating facilities, but generally we don't look at maintenance. One of the other things we found too in Barbados, and that was shocking for them, was that they think they have solar water heaters and all the hot water for the hotels free. But every hotel uses electrical energy between 2 and 15%, even though they have solar water heaters. The average was 6%. Okay, so solar water heaters doesn't mean you have no electrical energy if you don't maintain the facility. Financing. Finance is very important. The hotels want, the projects we identified was about 700,000 Bajan dollars per hotel in energy projects with a IRR, rate of return of 35% on average. But the hotels don't have the money to do the projects. So finance is very important for energy projects. Okay, I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Thank you, Andre.
We have heard presentations